It's a funny thing, isn't it, the concept of time. I still think of Abbey Clancy and Peter Crouch as a relatively new, recent couple. They only sort of recently got together. They've been together for 18 years now, so
quite a while.
They have learned a few things about maintaining what is obviously a happy marriage.
Well, they've turned that wisdom into a chart-topping podcast where they share their tips on how to keep the peace, but they don't shy away from sharing their differences either. Peter and Abbey join us now. Good morning to you. I mean, I have been loving listening to it. Honestly, it is just so entertaining.
It's so
Thanks
funny.
for joining us this morning.
So funny.
Does it feel a bit weird when you're sort of opening up on so many different things? You know, yeah, the funny bits, the entertaining bits, but also the times you've had the arguments and the bust-ups and all of that?
Well, to be honest, because we film it in our house and my brother and my cousin are the producers, it's kind of a safe space. So we don't feel like we're being interviewed. So kind of our guard's down. So I think, you know, it just gives it kind of natural, you know, natural chat.
I think so.
Go on.
I think sometimes, yeah, we say things and then, you know, they'll be out there and go, oh, my God, I thought that was... I didn't know if it was a private one or whether it was on the podcast.
Yeah.
You lose sight of what's reality.
Well, let's get...
We actually filmed a podcast last night where we were actually annoyed with each other and not really speaking, so that was... that's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one for us all to listen out to. You've put it all into a book, The Therapy Crouch in Search of a Happy Never After. We've got it here, and it's got... Oh, there you go. Yeah. You've got it there as well. Very good. And it's got kind of like an A to Z of everything that goes on. And I'm loving some of the ones that you mentioned. And, you know, with the coming up to Christmas and everything, we've got to talk about the presents, because there's this one... Was the one year, Abbey, where you said something about, no, we're not doing presents this year. Tell us what happened that memorable year.
Yeah, well, I think that's a classic, you know, girl thing to do. What do you want for Christmas? Oh, nothing. I didn't literally mean it, and I woke up on Christmas Day on the naughty list, it seemed, because I didn't get one present.
Well, I just think it's hard. It's hard to understand, you know, like, we're not going to get presents this year, but we are. Like, I don't know, it's a game that seems to be played that's difficult to comprehend.
It's interpreting...
Well, hopefully he'll redeem himself this year.
Make up for it, yeah.
It's interpreting the coded message, isn't it, Pete? I mean, you know, if your wife says to you, don't bother getting me anything for, say, my birthday, she means the opposite. It's the opposite meaning.
I know. I'm learning that, Richard. Listen, you know better than me, you know, I'm sure, but I'm still struggling with it.
Well, I remember this when Judy and I were presenting together, you know, every day. Bit like you and the podcast, if you've had a row, you can't hide it. So we'd be sitting, you know, imagine you're Judy, we'd be sitting next to each other. We'd had a massive row in the car on the way to Liverpool to do the show. And, you know, not talking, basically. And then you do the show. And within 30 seconds of going on air, people would be ringing our phone in and saying, they've had a row, haven't they? Oh, they've had a big... They could tell. So we can tell when you're not getting on. Do you ever actually say to your producers, your family, oh, cut that bit out, I wish I hadn't said that?
Yeah. I think, you know, we want it to be as authentic as possible, and that was the whole point of doing the podcast and the book. It has to be truly us, and that was very important to us. So, you know, I try and cut a bit of the swear words out, because for some reason I swear a lot on there.
It's so funny when Ab obviously talks. Normally she's obviously Scouse, but then when she goes into reading mode, she sounds like Joanna Lumley for some reason.
No, that's what I want to sound like.
The thing is, you had a feisty...
When we read our questions out from our...
You had a feisty relationship from the very start, didn't you? You gave him your phone number when you first met, and within minutes you were asking for it back. Is that right?
Yeah, that's because, you know, we first met, he begged me for my number, and then I went to Lou or the bar, and when I came back, he was, you know, talking to another girl, and I was like, how dare you?
Oh.
So...
Can I, in my defence there, like, I was literally just talking. She came back and she asked for a number back, you know, and I said, you can't give someone your number and then take it back in 10 minutes. I
know, but that was...
I should have known then.
Yeah.
Shush! That was nearly 20 years ago now, so...
God.
It's all good.
We love that. But
tell us the bracelet story when you were on honeymoon.
The honeymoon one, wasn't there?
Tell us about your honeymoon bracelet
Another one.
Are you trying to cause a row, Richard, before Christmas?
Yes, we are. Yep.
The bracelet story, I don't know did we tell the truth or did we lie about that one? No, he got me a really crappy bracelet that I didn't like, so we threw it away. basically, in a nutshell.
It wasn't quite...
I sound like really high maintenance, don't I?
But it wasn't quite the one you were expecting, was it? Pete, what's the story from your point of view, then, for that one?
From my point of view, I asked someone to get this bracelet for me, and in all honesty, I'm not across jewellery. I don't know the ins and outs of it really. It was from a specific shop. It wasn't that expensive, and I thought, oh, bonus, and then gave it to her. And obviously, it felt like it was almost a bit of a dig, like how bad it was.
Yeah. It was like a comedy present.
Oh, dear.
But it's fine. You know, over the past 18 years, I've tried to teach him, and I think he's, fine.
Do you know what? I think the lovely thing is with you two is that, it will be striking a chord with a lot of people at home, because there are always things in relationships, aren't there? You always have these sort of things that one of you's going to think this is a great idea and the other one's going to be, what on earth were you thinking? And I love the fact that you just sort of bring all of that to life for everyone. And I guess, your house is probably very Christmassy at the moment, mainly thanks to Abbey's organisational skills, from what I've been hearing on the podcast. Is that right?
Very much so, yeah. I'll be honest with you, all I really have to do for Christmas is...
Turn up.